Hello again. Another video from the weekend. I think it's turning out to be a bit of a weekend endeavor for me at the moment, but that's okay. This one's a fun one for me to do. I wanted to do it as soon as I had the idea about doing some of these right away. I was like, oh, I'm gonna definitely be doing this and talking about this particular group of records that I have in my possession. So, I have always been into buying brand new vinyl when I buy vinyl records and new CDs. I haven't really been somebody that's been adding a lot of used records, certainly, and CDs, but I'm not completely opposed to it. It's just my style. I tend to buy brand new and then keep them in great shape right from the start, and that's what I've always done. But again, a lot of people buy a lot of used stuff, so I realize that's popular as well. So a good year and a half ago, I suppose, we had a very unfortunate family situation where my uncle John, who was still a young man, he's only north of me by a decade or so, and he had to pass away, unfortunately, and leave us. It was very difficult for everybody, of course. Now, for me, John and I had a bit of a connection about music and other things too, but I understood that he liked classic rock and music. But, you're always respectful of someone's space, and I was always curious, but we never, unfortunately, got really into his records. So when this happened and some time passed, I was very curious about what Johnny really had. So, finally, with my Aunt Cher's support and permission, took the little wander downstairs there at the house and discovered John's collection. At first, I was a little bit, thrown off because I'm a real particular guy and my stuff is very particular, and he had it stacked fine, but they were stacked in the basement in plastic crates and been there quite a long time. So they were in, I was a little bit taken, oh no, this can't be. And so upon looking into the collection and taking it and transporting it to my place and going through them, cleaning them all up, I would say from the collection, maybe a third were what I would call, for a person like me, salvageable and very good shape. The rest of them that I did not keep myself, I brought to a local Oshawa Cops Records, and they bought some for, not very much money, but they bought some. And then the rest that were in a bit rougher shape, they did say to me they were going to offer to people for free that wanted to get some vinyl for free. I didn't personally witness them doing that, so, but let's say they did that. That feels good to say that. So so I certainly wanted to show off this stuff because some of the items from John's collection, I honestly don't even know if they were touched by a needle and played very much. I think that John, being John, was a collector of things, and he certainly collected a nice, cool set of records and music. And, I know that he played them back in the day, sure, but I think some of them, not very much. And some of them were in amazing condition, almost brand new. And then, like I say, others were not at all. So it was a bit of a mix, but there were certainly some there's certainly some gems here, and I want to show it off because it shows he certainly had, like perfect classic rock taste, that's for sure. John liked his classic rock music, and he had some really neat stuff. So that's what I'm doing today. So let's show some of I'm not going to show every single piece that I kept myself because some of it is, an additional to an artist or whatever, but I just want to display a bunch that I'm really happy to have with me. And I'll tell you something, they're getting played, and I've cleaned them all the way that I clean records. And I've put them in the plastic covers to protect them. They've all been placed in proper MoFi sleeves to further protect them. So they've taken on a new, life, and that's what it's about. I think that's what's cool about this. So let's look at some of these. This is a live Aerosmith double LP bootleg. I would say it's in really good condition. A lot of these, this is one where over time it will improve being in the plastic container, being in the MoFi sleeves, because a lot of them had this, just sitting in the basement kind of feel, smell to them. But that'll go away in time, I'm sure. And this was one of those, but it's the vinyls themselves, and the ones that I would keep for my collection, the vinyl is like amazing. Some of them are really good. So that's the first one. It's a really hard rocking, raw, early Aerosmith. I'm not a giant Aerosmith fan, but it's an early Aerosmith live album. Very cool. Rocks hard. Rolling Stones. There were a couple of Stones single records in his collection that I liked. This is one, Emotional Rescue, that is very cool. Look at that label. It's cool. Very, very cool. This is I was happy to see this is in there, because this is a really good sample of some of the stuff that John had that is so unique, so example of the time. This is Asia. This was a super group that came out. They made a few albums. This isn't one of their biggest albums but look at that artwork. Just amazing. Very good. One of the more certainly popular, and I think best, because it is got a lot of hits on here. This is Let's Dance Bowie. There were a couple of Bowie ones that I kept that were in good shape. This is certainly one that was in really good shape. This is pretty neat to have this. I didn't have a lot of Bowie at all, so this is good. There were a few that I kept of these guys, Cheap Trick, and this is one that I was like stoked to see. It is a gatefold, but it's a single LP, and it's their live, very famous live record. Pretty nice shape, very nice shape record. This is probably the one that I was like floored how good it sounded. It was, I'm not sure that it was played at all before. And it's Crosby, Stills, and Nash. They were somebody that I wanted to experience and get into, and this was my first endeavor with them, and I'm really impressed with this. Sounds amazing. Another band that I didn't have, and I was happy to see, there was a couple in here, but this is the one that I like a lot. It's Electric Light Orchestra. Secret Messages, got a really cool cover. I love that Jet Records label. Look at that, Kansas. This is one that was particularly had an aroma of mustiness because it's been sitting down there for so long. But it's in nice shape, very nice shape. And the cover, look at that cover. This is good. This is the one that has Carry On Wayward Son, their most popular song. This one was a cool find in there because I never owned it, and it's one of Kara's absolute favorite records, and it's in really nice shape. Look at that. And what I love is look at the label on this. Orange Meatloaf. It is a nice looking record. This is a cool one to see because John was a big Moody Blues fan. So this is one of their records. This is, it's a gatefold, it's a single LP, but it is real nice music and very calming sound. These guys were smooth band, very smooth. There were a couple of Robert Plant records. This is one. Look at this label, Swan Song. Such an example of John's taste, this type of music, just amazing. There are a couple of Bruce Springsteen. This is the one that I liked a lot. It's a nice calm record, Tunnel of Love. Gorgeous record. This was a cool one to see in there. Billy Squier, Don't Say No. Good record. A lot of fun. They look good in the plastics covers, I believe, and they'll last a long, long time in good condition now. Another one that I was like really thrilled to see because I didn't own any of his stuff, and you know, he's got some great songs. One of my very favorite songs ever, really, in rock music is Maggie May, and it's on this. This is Rod Stewart's Best. And it's got a lot of old stuff on here. It's a big gatefold record. It's got a lot of old stuff, but it's pretty cool. This is an example of a lot of them had a little bit of fade in the covers of the color, but you know, certainly not in rough shape. The really rough shape ones didn't stick around. Another cool one, Joe Walsh. It's got the big song, Life's Been Good on here. Crazy cool artwork. This was a cool one. There was a couple of Who records that he had, and this one was a real surprise to get to see because look at it, red vinyl, and that's not something that was all that prevalent before. So I thought that was kind of cool. Probably what I think is the best condition record from his collection, and that I was like, couldn't believe that was in here, is this Neil Young Live Rust double LP. And this is one, yes, it was opened, and I'm supposing John must have played it, but you wouldn't know it. It's in fantastic condition. There were a couple of Phil Collins records. Thought I'd show this, given Phil's challenges right now, health-wise. It's neat to have this stuff. And of course, this has In the Air Tonight, which is worth having all on its own. This was a funny one to see, and I liked seeing it. It's a good record, actually. Early Bryan Adams record. Cuts like a knife. If you see, look here, Brian, he looks pretty young in this picture. There were a couple of classic Max Webster records that I couldn't pass over, that's for sure. Beautiful Anthem label. Look at them there. Cool. Very artsy band. There were a couple of Police records that were in nice shape, and this is one, Synchronicity. Ghost in the Machine was also in there. There were two Beatle records. I I've got a Beatles best of CD set, which is great, but I didn't have any vinyl, Beatles on vinyl, so couldn't pass this one up. Again, one of Kara's favorites, and pretty classic, pretty neat. I think I'll play some of this stuff this afternoon. And then finally, one of the finds that I thought blew me away is this early Triumph record. Like, look at that. This is an old, cool, early record in really nice shape. It's got Blinding Light Show on it. Just amazing. So that's the set. I wanted to show this guy too. Out of the blue one day. Wasn't all that long ago, you know, years, but not that long ago. John surprised me, gave me this little gift, which I thought was hilarious. For some reason, he gave me this, and it's our man Gene Simmons. Kara reminded me of that. I thought it was a gas. So I pulled Gene out of the drawer. So there you go. That's the lion's share of the collection that I kept from John. Obviously, I kept a lot of stuff, cleaned up a lot of stuff. Very happy to say that it looks amazing in the MoFi sleeves and in the plastic covers. And I'm thankful to have the items. They get played. John was a true collector of things, and but he also had real good taste in classic rock music, obviously, with this kind of collection. So there you have it. Thanks, guys. All the best. Bye-bye.